What's up, everybody? Nick Couch from the Rhino Squad coming here today with my special guests. We have Miss Kara Witmer and Mrs. Kara Witmer and Mrs. Missy Sipe. So the three of us were representing for the Rhino Squad in Dallas, Texas at the Renaissance Hotel for the first LCD of 2019. I say the first LCD of 2019 because this is the first one we've had in 11 months. And the schedule at Prove It's just been crazy, but it sounds like they're going to have 3 or 4 over the next 12 months. So maybe we'll get another LCD in 2019. Who knows? There's so many events happening. Who is going to the Philly playbook this weekend or one of the other playbooks this weekend? If your camera's off, I can't see you raising your hand. So yeah, there's so many events just happening. The company's moving and growing fast. So I got the LCD Thursday, the day early, and part of everything we talk about Prove It is playing full out, showing up. Prove It accidentally sent a false text out to everybody at LCD, and it went to the wrong group. But because I was there early, because I showed up, I got pulled into a special meeting that I wasn't originally invited to. I got some extra stuff Thursday. Missy and Kara got in late Thursday night, got checked into their hotel, and then we kicked off Friday with a lab tour. So let's start off with the lab tour. What is the lab tour? Prove It Lab is where we make the ketones in Van Alstyne, Texas. So I'll just share real quick about my lab experience, not the whole experience, but Prove It started 4 years ago. We had a 15,000 square foot lab. That was the 15,000 square foot for the offices. Missy, you're not muted. That's 15,000 square feet for the manufacturing, for the receiving, for the shipping, for the offices. It was 15,000 square foot for everything. And then we ran out of that 15,000 square feet for 3 years. 1 year ago, we moved into our 150,000 square foot lab facility, which is awesome. We went from 15,000 to 150,000. Now, because we're growing so fast, they are literally breaking ground right now for an additional 200,000 square feet at that site in Texas. The 200,000 square feet is going to be for receiving, shipping, and storage of manufactured material. The 150,000 square feet is going to be the current offices and the current manufacturing. We're expanding the manufacturing to take over the rest of that building. Shipping, receiving, staging, and all that material stuff is going to go into the new 200,000 square feet. So when you look in the big picture, 15,000 square feet for 3 years, 150,000 square feet for the next year, and then the next year we're going to 350,000 square feet. Like, if you look at the growth of the company just from the standpoint of that building, it's insane. I've seen it before. So I want to get Kara. Missy, were you at the lab tour in that building last year? Okay. So this is Kara's first experience ever inside a Prove It lab where ketones are made. It smells magical when you walk in there. It just smells like ketones. But Kara, go ahead and unmute yourself and kind of just tell us a little bit about your first experience in the Prove It lab and what you got out of that and what it was like seeing ketone manufacturing and shipping and all that.
Okay, well, I have to be quite honest that when we got there in the morning, I was still very starstruck by all of the people that we see all over Prove It. And I was in a room, like not just a room, but a kind of a small room, side by side with a lot of these big names in Prove It. And so I was a little starstruck when we first got there because I couldn't believe that I was actually a part of something so awesome. But as far as the lab tour and everything goes, I mean, I think it was really cool to be able to go around with Joe and him to explain to us kind of what the vision of Prove It is, and to see some of the expansion stuff that's going on and new technologies that we secretly may or may not see over the next year or two. I mean, you're not going to get that kind of information if you're not there, which is crazy. I also was super excited to be one of the people first people to try that new dairy-free Protone, which I am waiting for because I want Protones, but dairy just really doesn't agree with me. So I drink it sometimes, but not often. So I guess the bottom line is I was really excited just to see where ketones are right now, and really walking through the warehouse and just being surrounded by literally shelves and shelves and shelves and pallets of ketones. It was crazy. So, and it was kind of exciting to see some of our flavors that haven't been around for a while are still in existence. And so I'm just waiting and praying for them to come back. So that was kind of my take of the tour.
Did you mean Ruby Rush?
Well, like I said, Nick, I'm not a big fan of Ruby, but I got lots of Ruby fans, and so I really think that could be tough if that comes back. I told you
I
that.
was excited to see
Eclipse, though. I'm really excited for Eclipse.
Yeah, Eclipse is my all-time favorite, but yeah, that's really cool. It was cool. It was cool getting to watch you experience it, and like, not only were you experiencing the lab, like in that room with the other rank 6s, rank 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, legends, like you were getting like one-on-one coaching chit chat. And I think it's cool that you were providing just as much value to them as they were providing to you. But yeah, the facility is amazing, and being part of that LCD group is powerful. So LCD, this is the first one where it was super strict. It was supposed to be rank 6 and above, because the content they deliver at LCD isn't for the newest new person. Like, you kind of have to have a team to relate to some of the stuff. You've had to have been around for a little bit to understand the stuff. And I want to jump into that real quick. Had Kara not played full out, had Kara not manifested being there. So whenever LCD came out and they started talking about maybe opening it up for a few people that qualified or got chosen, Kara had already made sure she was off work. She had already found plane tickets. She'd already coordinated with Missy, hey, if I can make it, if I can get chosen in that special extra group, can I stay in your hotel? Can we share? Can we fly together? Can we Uber together? All that stuff. So really what Kara was doing was she was manifesting and visualizing that I'm going to be there and I'm taking off work and I'm flying. Like whenever I was at her Keto Life party the one night, she's like, I can't wait. I'm going to go. And then as soon as...
Let me interrupt. You said when I'm at the Prove It Lab next week, and I said, excuse me, when we are at the Prove It Lab next week, if fine.
But
because I was going.
But also because you made me aware. You remember I was driving and I saw the pulse notification come up that the waiting list entries were available. Literally half a second later, I was on the phone with you. We got Kara on the waiting list. And then once the actual tickets opened up for the waiting list, I was on the phone texting Brian Underwood like, Kara Witmer needs a ticket. So it was a group effort to get Kara pulled into that special group of extra people. But it really was a high-level, high-caliber group. And I think that's kind of normal to be starstruck. Like, I still get starstruck to be around Jessie Lee. Like, she's a freaking boss. Not that she's doing anything we can't do, or we all have it inside of us. But yeah, it was really special getting to see you. I mean, it's kind of like being Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory. Like, that's what it's like when you go to the Prove It Lab. It's like all these happy people running around. And for those of you who don't know, Joe is the guy that runs the lab. He's like the director of the facility. So he was the one that was our tour guide. And then after our tour, we all got to taste test a full can of the orange vanilla cola keto up. So that was a nice little gift for showing up. Everything's about showing up. So Missy, this is your second time at the lab, but the lab looks a little different now. We've filled out the space a little more over the last 11 months. What was it like on your lab tour?
It was awesome. Again, like the excitement that comes from Joe, like always, like just gets me fired up. Like it's, and then when you tour and you see all the stuff, like that was cool. But it was like, I saw that before, but it's I feel like I say this all the time, but it's the passion of the people that are there that, because I guess I'm a blue personality. So like that is what, like I'm not paying attention to the details of everything, even though I did notice the top of the Mallee packs are really cool because they're cute. but it's the people and the personalities and the workers there. Like you see them and you wave and they smile and they're happy. Like everybody's just happy, and you can tell they have, like Brian talks about, like their lives are dependent on what we do. So it's just it's not them and us, we're a team. And I get that every time I'm around in the lab, both times. Like that's the biggest thing I get from it.
Awesome, yeah. But it really just shows you the vision of Ryan Underwood. It shows you the vision of Joe. Like Joe runs the lab. They have big vision of what they're doing, and Pruitt's looking forward at the future. Like they're not going to wait till we are at 100% capacity to build the 200,000 square foot building. We're at 60% capacity of what that building can handle. So they're going to build the new building. And the reason they keep that 40% cushion is ketones could go viral. Ketones could explode. We could literally go from doing our first billion in 4 years to our next billion in 6 months. Who knows? So they're planning ahead. They're planning for the future. They're investing in new space. Plus, we're expanding globally, which takes a lot of infrastructure. So, and they're bringing all these new machines in, and they're building rooms for new machines that we don't even need yet because they're planning on what's coming. We can't talk about what those machines were. You had to be there to know. But there's just so much, guys. Like seeing the manufacturing facility, the lab is awesome. And it's really cool, like the quality standards and how clean that facility is. Like it's like an operating room. The whole facility is spotless. And like I overheard guys that work there in the hallway, like Missy said, like everybody's just happy. Like I think it's even happier than Hershey, because Hershey's supposed to be the happiest place on earth. But I think the Pruitt lab is happier. All right,
it's our company. It's not not Pruitt. It's like they're not warehouse lab people working for a company. Like it just seems like they feel like they have a stake in it. Like their hearts are there.
Yeah. Cool. So let's get into Friday, day one of LCD. So, Kara, this is your first LCD. This is Missy's second LCD, my fourth LCD. This is the fourth LCD in company history. The content's the same, pretty much. It's delivered a little different, but you being a first timer, Kara, what was we don't have to stick to just day one, but day one to day three, what would you say your number one takeaway or your magical moment or your best experience, what you got out of it?
So I think one of the biggest things, and we're all at different places. Some people have promoters under them. Some people want to build a big business. Some people really don't. So I think one of my biggest takeaways was we constantly have to be reassessing ourselves so that we can continue to build and help our team and our community of our business. So that was huge. Like reassessing where I'm at helps me help others. And it's basically my responsibility to build my business. If I want to work hard, I'm going to have a big business. If I really don't, it's not easy. And I think Jessie Lee stood up and said, like, it's not easy, but it's worth it and anybody can do it. She does make you starstruck. Like you say that, Nick, like she's kind of crazy and she brings an energy that I don't think anybody else really can bring. But, that was really good for me. And then just one other thing was to really know what your own goals are, and then your team, what their goals are. Because if you're trying to push somebody to build a big business and that's not their goal or their desire, that it's not going to go well. So you really have to ask questions and listen to people and know where they are. Now it might change because somebody gets into the business and then all of a sudden they go to an event, they go to their first event and they're like, oh my God, like I'm taking this big time. They don't realize what they've stepped into. But that was really big for me because I do think that I sat with, well, if I want to go big and we know how amazing Prove It is, then everybody else should want to go big too. And so that was like one of my biggest takeaways. I mean, I have a whole book full and like pages of like takeaways from there, but I think that was one of my biggest ones, that you just really have to meet people where they're at and encourage them on the level in which they are, hoping that it will grow over time, but you can't expect that it will. So I think that was a big takeaway for me.
Yeah, it goes to what Brian Underwood said. You can't coach somebody that doesn't want to be coached. And I'll jump in right after that. So in our training manual, we had the LCD journey. It was our training manifesto. And this one paragraph I have highlighted here, in that journey manifesto, it says, the most powerful people in the world are people who create themselves. If I stop on that sentence, I watched a video a long time ago about Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is the most successful life coach, business coach. He's worked with the best of the best, the presidents of the United States, the Oprah Winfrey's, the biggest, most successful people in the world. And there was a video I watched on him a while ago about how he says, yes, I was born Tony Robbins, but the Tony Robbins you see today, I created that. He used some choice language that I'm not going to use on this Zoom, but he created Tony Robbins. So, like, we're creating this new version of ourselves. But so I really like that. The most powerful people in the world are the people who created themselves. And then this paragraph goes on saying, they created an identity and they stepped in and became it. You create your identity. You decide who you're going to be. You decide who you're going to be as a person in every aspect of your life, as a friend, as a spouse, as a partner, as a parent, as a leader. You decide. What's interesting is the process can happen in a moment. It can happen in a few hours, or it can happen in a few days. It's up to you. Some people spend their entire life wanting to make a change and become the person they desire to be. So I really like that paragraph. There's a lot. I mean, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you have to get there if you want to know the whole manifesto. But, yeah, there's a lot of awesome moments. And, Missy, this is your second LCD. You were at LCD last year with me in October. I forget the dates, but last October in Louisville. And that was a cool event because we showed up and the room was empty and they made us walk to a random location. And this time our randomness, we built Legos. So if you want to throw in a little chat about the Lego exercise.
That's exactly actually was my biggest takeaway.
I didn't know that. Yeah, go ahead and talk about the Legos and talk about your second LCD experience and stuff like that.
So it was definitely a big shift for me because I do have a team now. So I was super looking forward to it because now I could come home and apply it. But the Lego, I ended up at the table of 10 with Jesse Lee. And so when we had to pick what we were going to do, part of the Lego building. So Jesse Lee actually, she of course chose to be the director. And but my biggest takeaway was like she was the director, and we all think of her as like she's like the best, and she is. But our structure at the end of it was not perfect. So it's communication, and everybody's communication styles are different because there was 10 of us there. Alexa Brady was in the group also. So it just shows that like we couldn't talk the whole time during the Lego event. So it's all about communication, like finding different, everybody communicates in a different way. And without being able to use our words, we had to find a different way. And even though we all like aspire to be like Jessie Lee, like she crushes network marketing, crushes Prove It business. But even with her being the leader, if we didn't communicate as a team, it didn't matter how good she was. Like it takes a team to communicate with everybody to communicate well. So that was my biggest takeaway from the whole day was communication. Like we had a solid base. That's it.
So the first thing we did when we got there was the Lego exercise. One of the last things we did there was a Lego exercise. They wanted us to see after going through LCD, could it be a different experience the second time? But we did it differently. We didn't have a director that could see the Lego model that would come out and tell you what to build, and then you have to have somebody translate it. We actually got together and all 10 of us had to build a thing. And we had little sheets of papers, but we still couldn't talk. So what was a little takeaway from your second Lego exercise after completing LCD?
Nick, you were freezing. So were you asking me my takeaway from the second? So again, we each had a role, and we didn't know what each other's role was. So I actually cheater, and I kind of because like I'm working on that mindset of like being a leader. So when I saw that and I saw who was in the group with me, I was like, oh my goodness, like I'm going to lead these people that have so much more experience than me. One of them being Alexander, Jesse Lee's boyfriend. So I was just like Kara, like starstruck, like kind of, because like these people are known leaders. So I'm like in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do the best I can. I'm a leader. I didn't know what anybody else's goals were or what their roles were. So as a leader, I didn't know what their roles were. I didn't know what their goals were. So I sat back. I was the cheerleader because I didn't interfere. I didn't go in, and I didn't know what they each were doing. Like I didn't know what the goal was. I didn't know what we were building. So again, it's communication. It's I guess almost like personalities. Just everybody leads different, because after the Lego part that we did, we all talked, and like Lisa Grossman, she was micromanager, like, and their team had a little conflicts in theirs, like, so it's just everybody gets to the same goal, but in a very different way. So it's learning to work with different personalities and knowing that there's no right or wrong way, really. Everybody's going to do it their way, and that's okay. But we definitely, again, it came back to needing to know people's goals, because I didn't know what their goal was. So I couldn't leave them because I didn't know what their goal was.
And me and my Lego exercise, I was an observer the first round, so I just had to stand back and watch. I couldn't talk. And it was so funny to see some of the top leaders in the companies. They were like rule breakers like crazy. And we had one of the worst, what the actual Lego model looked like and what ours looked like, it was not even close. We were so far off because of that communication aspect. So you can have the best of the best, and that communication will get you every time. And then my last Lego exercise, I was in with Lisa Grossman. I was in with a bunch of other pro champs. I was in with Curtis Broom, who runs the Asia operation for Prove It. And we had so many alpha male, alpha female leaders. Like, it was literally like a blood match. Like, we were like fighting over building Legos, and we'd try and put Legos on, and somebody was trying to take them off, and it was breaking the model. And we were all like boiling over, but we had so many alphas. It was too many chefs in the kitchen, too many chiefs, not enough Indians. Like, we had so many people that were trying to like take ownership and take leadership and just go and charge. It ended up just messing our whole project up. Whereas if we could have had somebody that could have just led and other people that could have just followed, it might have been a little better. But it's just so cool, like the way that Brian Underwood sees these ideas. Like at the last LCD, how we showed up to the event expecting to be at the building, and there's no chairs, and then on the screen it's like, yeah, walk to this address. So they're really good at flexing your adaptability. Like, how adaptable are you when things aren't going your way? But we learned so much. I mean, we could sit on here if we really got into our notes. Another exercise I want to tune in on was how Prove It does things versus how the industry of network marketing does things. We are community-based marketing versus traditional network marketing. So if you come to Prove It with a network marketing background, we do things a lot differently. Do you have anything you want to throw in on that Prove It industry chart we did, Kara?
Well, I, quite honestly, from my history, there were a lot of similarities to Prove It. I think that's why I just kind of jumped in, and it's been similar
for me. But yeah, there were definitely a lot of, let me just turn there because I have them all written down. That was kind of eye-opening though and didn't Brian Underwood, didn't he lead that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so like there's a lot of, and it's not just the industry even, it's just kind of, I picked up some things of just other people, you know what I mean? Like we really try to stay positive, like, you know, you go to an event and everybody's positive and there's a lot of like, I can'ts and I mean, I've seen a lot of that, but a lot of people just have different mindsets. And I think that one thing that changed for me very quickly with Prove It is my own mindset, that I can do things, that I can change the way I react to things, as opposed to, you know, just being negative, just talking down other companies, just doing things more focused on me instead of focused on the good of everybody else. So, I don't know. It was good though. I mean, I have 2 whole pages worth of Prove It.
I mean, it kind of goes along with the etiquette session that Brian Underwood did. But like so many people see somebody else in the company that's like growing really fast and they're like, they think there's a secret. There's no secret. Like we have everything we need right here inside the Rhino Squad. And like grow where you're planted. I really like that one. Like I don't need to go be on Michael Rutherford's team to be successful. I've got all those leadership skills that I need inside of me. I gotta keep showing up and I gotta keep pouring into you guys. And I get just as much out of you guys as you guys get out of me. But grow where you're planted. I really like that one.
Nick, can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Something that stands out, like, and I can see. So somebody stood up and asked a question, like, about etiquette. If you're out and about, like, almost should you put on a show? Like, if you're, like, be proper, if you're wearing a Prove It shirt, like, not swear or just be. And Brian Underwood absolutely said no. Like, absolutely no. He said, be you. He's like, if you drop that bomb in the grocery store, you may not get that cashier to be your customer, but that's that may happen. But he never, like, what you don't, like, you represent Prove It by being you, whoever you are, whether you're the church person or if you're the person that just is like off the wall, like saying whatever, like you don't hold back. Like Brian doesn't want us to put on any. He wants us to be us, like, and that's what Jesse Lee said. Everybody was like, completely just be you. We have everything that we need, like every inside us, and don't put on a show. Don't try to be somebody else. And that's not an expectation of Prove It. Like when you're wearing Prove It gear, you're representing who you are, not, you don't need to put on a show. Brian was adamant about that. Like, he got fired up. It was really cool because that's not corporate America.
Yeah, and people are going to follow you for being you. Like, if your friends know you swear like a drunk sailor and you go on Facebook and you talk like the preacher's son, like, your friends are going to be like, they're going to think you joined some weird thing and you're, like, acting different. Like, just be yourself. Like, be your authentic self. But, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in that section. And anything else, Missy and Kara? We are right at 30 minutes.
Just real quick, that one thing at the very end of the day, the last day, it was cool. Jesse Lee was up coaching, teaching social media. Nick Martinez, oh my goodness, Dustin Schaefer and his wife, they were there, back there right behind me, like taking notes, like learning. And this is their 4th LCD. So like, it was cool. Last day, 3 days later, at the end of the day, and they're like taking notes and asking questions.
Yeah. But guys, LCD, I hope we get a bunch more to the next one. it's an amazing event, and Brian Underwood is a totally different person at LCD than he is at Keto Academy and more. Like, he went off and ripped on some tangents, and he just, yeah, you'll see Brian Underwood in a different light at LCD because he has to be. He's in a different environment. He's in an environment with higher leaders, people with bigger teams, people with bigger businesses, people with bigger goals. So he has to lead LCD differently than he leads Keto Academy and more. But like I said, I went to the first two, and I was kind of questioning like whether I should go to the third one. And once I went to the third one, I realized I need to keep going every one because every time I go, I'm at a different place. Well, the fourth event, this most recent LCD, I realized not only am I at a different place, but there's different people at the event. So you get to we do a lot of role playing, like where we'll like one person will coach, one person will be the promoter, and we'll go and we'll do trial and runs on different things. But I've known some of the people that were at this LCD since they joined Prove It, but this is the first time I get to pair and partner with them to do these role-playing exercises where we go through different scenarios of promoting and coaching. And I got so many good things out of that. There was one point when I was with Kate Higdon and Courtney that literally, like, I felt the emotion of, like, the coaching scenario. It was really, really powerful. But guys, just get to every event. I can't wait to see most of you at tomorrow's playbook event in Philadelphia. I think most of our team's going to show up at Philly. I can't wait till our team's 10 times bigger and we have people at all 4 playbooks every time. Like right now, we're still kind of powerhousing just the Philly playbook. But I can't wait till we have a team in Vegas going to the Vegas playbook, and we have a team going to Dallas and a team going to Louisville. Like, I can't wait till we have all the playbooks. I can't wait till we have playbooks in Australia and we have playbooks in the US and we have people at both. Like, we're going there. The team's getting big. I appreciate you guys for showing up. Things are on fire. Something big's coming in 2020. Brian Underwood didn't let that cat out of the bag. He really had to fight hard not to say what he wants to talk about it, but he kept it under wrap at LCD. So with that being said, we're at 30 minutes. I'm going to call this Zoom officially over. Thanks, guys.